Well, this is the video about a video on YouTube I watched on a website called New Detectives. Okay, then here, this is what I understood. I say understood because it's got no headlines, neither in English nor in Spanish. Okay, it is fed with headlines only during the first minute, and afterward, the headlines were gone. Okay, let's check this. And then while I was listening, I was typing in my computer. I don't have a computer. I haven't got any computer, so I've got to borrow one from the cyber cafe. Okay, and I typed all this. I divided the screen, computer screen, split in two. While I was listening, I was typing. I didn't understand this part, or this word, or this word. Okay, let's listen. Okay, and then what is this about? Okay, okay.
A couple had spotted a human torso washed ashore along the Miami River and called the Butler County Sheriff. In Hamilton, Ohio, residents enjoy a peaceful suburban lifestyle. The inner city crime of Cincinnati is miles away. But on April 13th, 1998, it didn't seem quite so far. A couple had spotted a human torso washed ashore along the Miami River and called the Butler County Sheriff's Office. Major Anthony Dwyer was the lead investigator on the case. He was also the first to closely examine the remains. Because the body had been in the river, it was badly decomposed and barely recognizable.
When we first discovered the torso, it was up here on the bank, and there was very little we could determine from that. You could tell that it was a white person, but you couldn't even tell if it was a male or a female because of the condition of the body.
The investigators were unable to tell much about the torso. But one thing was clear. This was no accident.
So the extremities being cut off, we took a close look at the bones, and looked like there were saw marks there.
The torso was carefully collected and transported to the morgue for a more thorough examination. Investigators continued to search the area for missing body parts or clues that would help them identify the body. They found nothing. Butler County Chief Coroner Dr. Richard Burkhart performed the autopsy. Without a head or even fingerprints to guide him, identifying the body would be difficult. And there was an additional challenge. He first needed to determine the victim's gender.
The unusual thing about the torso was that we weren't immediately able to say whether it was male or female. An examination was made of the lower abdomen or
Oh my God, no puedo creer que se haya pasado el tiempo con todo el trabajo. Olvidé su regalo. ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Se va a dar cuenta? Yo también, amor, que no sabes.
Bueno, ¿qué película quieres ver?
La que tú quieras, voy al baño bien.
Elvis, and we found the presence of a uterus and ovaries. Obviously now the torso is a female. From there into the injuries on the arms and to the chest.
But Dr. Burkhart still did not know how she died.
We x-rayed the body to make sure there wasn't any lead from a bullet. and examination of the heart, lungs for conditions that could have caused death, such as stab wounds. None were found.
The only certainty was that her head and limbs had been cleanly severed.
You were there.
The tool markings left on the body looked as if they were made with a household saw. Based on the temperature of the river and the level of the body's decomposition.
Okay. Now, this is what I wrote. Woman's body found in river. In Hamilton, Ohio, residents enjoy a peaceful suburban lifestyle. The inner city crime of Cincinnati is miles away, but on April 13, 1998, it didn't seem quite so far. A couple had spotted a human torso washed ashore along the Miami River and called the Butler County Sheriff's Office. Mayor Anthony Dwyer was the lead investigator on the case. He was also the first to closely examine the remains. Because the body had been in the river, it was badly decomposed and barely recognizable. When we first saw the torso, it was up here on the bank, and there was very little we could determine. We could tell that it was a white person, but you couldn't even tell if it was a male or a female because of the condition of the body. The investigators were unable to tell much about the torso, but one thing was clear: this was not an accident. The torso was carefully collected and transported to the morgue, and through thorough examination, transported to the morgue for thorough investigation. Investigators continue to search the area for missing body parts or clues that might help them identify the body. They found nothing. Dr. Perez Schiff, I didn't understand this part. Performed the autopsy. Without a head or any fingerprints to identifying the body would be difficult, and there was an additional challenge. They first needed to determine the victim's gender. The unusual thing about it is that we weren't immediately unable to say whether it was a male or a female. Examination was made of the lower abdominal, a blank here, able to say the torso was a female. So we examined the body to make sure it was that it was any lid. There was any lid, and examination of the heart and lungs for conditions that would have caused that, since the stab wounds were not found. But still, he doesn't know how she died. The only certainty was that any lead from the body. The only certain was the head and legs had been clearly severed. Okay. En español dice que el cuerpo de una mujer fue encontrado en un río. En Hamilton, Ohio, los residentes llevaban su vida pacífica y tranquila en un suburbo de esta ciudad, ¿no? Muy tranquilo, ¿no? En realidad los delitos en esta ciudad, ciudad de Cincinnati. Cincinnati queda solo unas millas y pero dice que aquí que los delitos que ocurren aquí sí ocurren, pero muy lejos de allí, a Cincinnati, que queda a millas de allí, muy lejos. Pero en abril el 13 de abril de 1998, parece que no, el lugar no, hasta ahora fue un lugar muy tranquilo, porque una pareja sí vio de repente un torso humano, ¿sí? Que había sido a la orilla, a lo largo, ¿verdad?, del río Miami. Y entonces llamaron a la oficina del sheriff del condado de Porter. Entonces el mayor Anthony Dower fue el investigador principal y se presentó, le asignaron ese caso. También fue el primero de examinar los restos con mucho cuidado, debido a que el cuerpo había estado en el río, ya estaba demasiado descompuesto y era muy difícil reconocerlo. Cuando primero vimos el torso, estaba allí en la orilla del río y era muy poco lo que pudimos determinar y de saber si era una persona blanca, ni siquiera si sabía era de un hombre o una mujer, debido a las condiciones deterioradas del cuerpo. Los investigadores entonces fueron incapaces el torso no les ayudó mucho, solamente eso. Entonces, pero una cosa sí estaba muy clara: esto no fue un accidente. Entonces el torso fue cuidadosamente recogido y transportado a la morgue para un examen más cuidadoso, ¿no? Los investigadores continuaron buscando el área, buscando otras partes que faltaban del cuerpo o pistas que les ayudaran a identificar el cuerpo. No encontraron nada. El doctor Paris Chief, él realizó la autopsia, ¿sí?, sin cabeza y ninguna huellas digitales. Para identificar el cuerpo sería difícil. Y había un reto también más que se presentó. Necesitaban determinar el género de la víctima, si era mujer o hombre. Lo raro de esto es que inmediatamente pudimos saber ya si era un hombre o una mujer. Entonces los exámenes que se hicieron en la parte baja del abdomen, ellos pudieron decir que el torso fue de una mujer, sí, supone que por los genitales, ¿no? Examinó el cuerpo y aseguramos y vimos que había alguna pista, ¿no? Entonces examinamos el corazón, los pulmones, para ver qué condiciones qué había pasado que le causaran las heridas cuando fue apuñalada, pero no se encontró nada. Bastille no se sabe todavía de qué muere ella, pero la única seguridad es cualquier pista que encontraran en el cuerpo, ¿no? Entonces este era lo único seguro. Y lo único que sí sabía era que la cabeza y las piernas habían sido cortadas de un solo tajo. Muchas gracias. Esto fue lo que yo entendí. Ok. Muy bien. Listening and understanding English.